Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Deepak Tutral. I've been a regular with these sessions before, so I'm sure everyone knows me here. Uh, what I like to, what the special thing about this session is that we all have understood that yes, one leg of the CAT preparation is just 1 minute. Sorry. Yeah, so one part of the CAT preparation is getting the basics right. What they really want you to have is the fundamental clarity of concepts. However, what we've also seen, and we've interacted with a lot of students who've cracked IIMs, cracked different examinations, is that all these students said that taking mock CATs was of utmost importance. They were all very regular with the mocks, and not only they were regular with the mocks, they were also very regular with analyzing those mocks. So the most important thing at this leg of preparation, at this time of preparation, is that we have to have a very clear strategy of doing more mocks, doing more sectional papers, and getting and analyzing them properly, and try and understand the strengths and weaknesses and areas of improvement from what we've done in our mock papers. Also, these mocks should be taken keeping in mind that the same pressure that we'll be going through during the CAT paper. So, with so much of importance to the mocks, we have with us Harinder sir today, and he's going to guide us. Not only is Harinder sir very good with fundamentals of the subject which he's been teaching for so many years, he is also he's also interacted with so many students, and we've taken feedback from them on what needs to be done during these months of preparation, and how to handle these mock papers is what Harinder sir is going to guide us through. So Harinder sir, I'd like to welcome you to the session.
Hello,
and our enthusiastic students are always looking forward to what should be the strategy during this time, how should mocks be tackled, with your experience, because most of the students are freshers here, and with your experience we would want some guidance towards how to handle them. So bro, how to handle mocks is what we want the clarity on.
exactly.
And be a pro. All the bros will know how to be a pro. And welcome sir, over to you. Since you have vast amounts of knowledge, you've seen thousands and thousands of students by now. Please tell us, not only from a perspective of student who cracked it, but we also need to understand it from the mistakes of the student who could not do it, right? So I think both the sides are important. क्या नहीं करना चाहिए पक्का और क्या करना चाहिए पक्का.
Right.
And rest, over to you sir, please.
Thank you so much. I welcome all the students also. People who all are watching us live, whatever questions which is there in your mind, you can keep that typing or sending in the comment box. So that Deepak sir can go through the same and can put those questions to me one by one, and I can answer those queries as well, because that will be of utmost importance. Because so many times we have some questions in mind which you want to clarity on, so that we can solve the questions and analyze those in the way and clarify the doubts we have. Now, talking about in general, this session is about how can you be basically an expert in attempting CAT papers. Now, students, let me put it very, very honestly, at this stage, when you're taking so many CAT papers, and unfortunately for most of you, what you feel like that the level of preparation which you have, or the kind of time which you have put in over there, your score is nowhere near to that is what is the normal interpretation or the introspection which you do for yourself, you get out of it. Now, simply students, when we say that when you do the preparation, everything you solve by way of chapters or areas. When you're doing mathematics, you try to understand what is percentage, what is profit and loss, how to solve about geometry, how to go about algebra, and so on, one by one. Similarly, when you do verbal, you talk about grammar, you talk about vocabulary, you talk about reading comprehension, and every area you deal with is coming across to you one by one in terms of area and section. Now, the thing is, because you're using those one area at a time, so you basically are able to solve the questions in a better manner with a good level of accuracy and good speed, because then you're doing only one area at a time. The major problem, the major reason why so many of you are not able to score well in the first 3, 4, 5 papers is that in a paper, you have all the areas of all the 3 sections coming to you, the questions of the same coming to you in one go, and you have to tackle, answer that, understand the concepts, and then you have to deliver that, solve that within the limited period of time available to you, right? So there is nothing like if you have attempted 4, 5, 6 papers and you're not getting a score, this is something not very, very abnormal. This is normal with every student, right? Because so far when you do the preparation, you did one by one chapters, and now it is all areas, all sections in one. So there's nothing to be disappointed about. This happens with almost every students at the stage of taking the first 5, 6 or 7 mocks initially. Moving further, people, what should be done so that you are able to perform better? How to be a pro, right? So simply, people, I personally feel that analysis of the papers is very, very important. Now, when I take or use the word analysis, this does not mean just casually going through the paper once, as most of you understand it to be. इसका ये बिल्कुल भी मतलब नहीं है कि आपने एक बार कैजुअली ऊपर ऊपर से उसको देखा, हाँ ये मैंने किया, ये गलत हो गया, ये मैंने नहीं किया, and the matter is end. No, people, when you talk about a 2-hour mock CAT paper, you're supposed to spend minimum 4 to 6 hours on analyzing that paper, right? That is a 1-hour section which you attempt in the paper. You should ideally be spending 2.5 hours in analyzing that one single section. Now, when you analyze one single section, you go through each and every question once again. So the question could be belonging to 2 or 3 categories. Category 1, the question which you did not see. You have to have an answer why you did not see that question in the first place. 2, the questions which you did see, but you did not feel like doing it. What is the issue? Was it belonging to an area you have not done? You're still not comfortable. So that is high time you pick up the books, revise that topic, right? Or it is something which doesn't belong to your areas of strength, but because the question is appearing that you need to work a little more on that. 3, the question is like that which belongs to the area which you feel you are comfortable. You attempted the question, but it did go wrong. What was the reason? Was it a blind guess from your side, or it was a silly mistake, or any third reason? So whatever XYZ is the reason for the same, you need to write it down on a diary. And 4th, the question which you correctly attempted, is there any way you could have still solved this question in a lesser period of time, which could have solved your time, maybe saved your time, maybe having a look at the options beforehand, maybe looking at the options in terms of multiples in case of a TSD or a time and work question, or anything like that. So you need to have an answer for each of the 4 or 5 types of questions for each of the 3 sections, right? Now, if it's a reading comprehension passage you're talking about, why 2 or 3 questions of a specific passage went wrong? 1, was this a wrong selection of the passage at the first place? Maybe you are an engineer and you just pick up a philosophy-based paragraph, or maybe an economics bit which are not comfortable. So wrong choice need to be corrected next time. If it was the area which belonged to your graduation, or the area of your expertise, why it went wrong, or the question within that was, it was something like what can be inferred, the tone of the passage, the title of the passage, maybe the category of the question is like that, which you have not been comfortable of late. So you need to work on the same. So people, one by one, you need to write a logical explanation of every question you did. How can you make it quicker? Every question you did but you made wrong, the reason for the same. Every question you looked but you skipped, the reason for the same. And when you sit for analyzing the paper next time, you need to go through each and every question which you have jotted down by analyzing the previous paper, so that when you attempt the next paper or you analyze the next paper, all those things are placed at one place, which is very, very handy for you. You can quickly go through that and start analyzing or attempting the next paper. Right? Deepak, you're mute.
So can I compare with Asia Cup going on right now? Is the first thing that we understand from your talk is कि Rahul आया, Rahul ने 34 runs बनाए 36 balls पे, primarily lacking match practice. Every commentator said, everyone said, आप भी यही कहोगे कि he was lacking match practice. तो पहली चीज mocks करने हैं. फिर अगर राहुल की तरह, मैं पहले राधा एक और एग्जांपल देता हूँ. सर आपने बिल्कुल सही बात करी कि किसी के 79-75 परसेंटाइल आ रहे होंगे. बिल्कुल आ रहे थे सर. हमने एक स्टूडेंट IIM क्रैक किया है. हमारा स्टूडेंट, मैं पहले स्टूडेंट का बताता हूँ. He said I was getting between 75 to 79 also. ऐसे लगता था मैंने क्या कर दिया, and it was August when he was getting it. Another student who cracked Bangalore, he said, sir, कि 15 September तक तो पता ही नहीं था, इतना काम कर रहा था. He was working, he had work experience. So कहता इतना काम कर रहा था कि पता ही नहीं चल रहा था. तो even, but then, around this time, both of them worked so hard that they started getting it. So very rightly put, sir, that ye karna hai, that analyzing is the most important. Second,
I'll also like to add here, I still remember when initially I started teaching, there were students of ours, Shaurya, I still remember his name, one of the first 2 or 3 year students. I remember he joined a 2-year batch. He was a Thapar engineer. And I think somewhere at that time, CAT used to be in the second Sunday of December, and it is somewhere in August or September only. He said, sir, I have been putting it for 1.5 years. Still, my score is very less. So I am planning that I'll get a good placement. Let me join a company and I'll take the CAT paper maybe 2, 3, 4 years down the line. So he met me personally. So he was a very, sincere student in the class. I just told him, Shaurya, you have already given 1.5 years, just a matter of 2 more months. So let me give you the worst possibility. Worst possibility is you'll decide to take CAT after 3 years again, which you have already decided. So nothing to lose. Now, whatever is going to be, it must be, or it could just be better than what you have already thought, right? So it's a matter of giving 2 more months. Would it impact your engineering marks at all? He said, no, sir. Okay. I said, okay, you believe in me. What I'm saying, just spend 2 more months. And fact of the matter is, for the next 1 or 2 weeks, he remained the way he was. But the moment it starts clicking to him, he started analyzing the papers thoroughly. And within the same year, he got admission in IIM Lucknow. No, he runs one of the largest chains in Himachal in terms of blood banks for dialysis. Right? We recently invited him on one of our Diwali parties, and he was, sir, I'm still thankful for that year. I said, sure, it was all to you. You just needed that, a little hope at the end of the canal, we say, and it basically did the trick for you. And that is applicable to all the students who are listening to us right now, or will listen to this session later. People, mind it, you actually never know when it is going to click. और मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ स्टूडेंट्स को कि यार मतलब जो खराब घड़ी भी होती है ना दिन में, वो भी 2 बार ठीक टाइम दिखाती है ना. और आप लोग तो भगवान की चलती फिरती घड़ियां हो. It is just that you have not been getting the thing which is required to crack it. Just keep on looking for it. Try to follow the right path, and you never know when it is going to, exactly fall. The things will fall in place, and you'll be able to make it.
बिल्कुल sir. तो match practice is the most important.
Exactly.
Then you can either be a Rahul or a Surya Kumar Yadav.
Exactly.
Surya Kumar Yadav.
The difference lies, it is not that Rahul is more important or Surya is more important. Surya Kumar Yadav can only become that if Rahul has already made the base for him, right?
Exactly.
And Rahul is there and he can make the base considering in mind that if I am able to base, somebody is there to take care of the further last 5, 7, 8 overs as well. So they both need each other.
सर तो सूर्य कुमार यादव की एक बात मैं I would like to tell all the students, and what you've said is applicable everywhere, and a person who diligently follows it is going to crack the paper. Was that T20 is all about premeditating.
Yes.
यहाँ पे हमें पता है कि हमारे पास क्वेश्चन मुश्किल है, आसान है, क्या मैं उसको प्रीमेडिटेट कर सकता हूँ इनिशियली पढ़ के, या फिर अगर मैं छोड़ रहा हूँ क्या मैं वो प्रीमेडिटेट गलत कर रहा हूँ, या मैं उसको पकड़ रहा हूँ तो क्या मैं प्रीमेडिटेट सही कर रहा हूँ. To premeditate is going to get through the paper, and that is what is called, when you see the question you have to do it, and when you see the question you have to leave it, is the first thing you have to get right.
I understand very well, people who are watching us live, people, the major pain point of the CAT paper at this stage is basically the DILR section, and I very strongly tell the students that most of you focus on how to select a set or how to select a question to be attempted. But mind it, the art of selection is as good an art as the art of rejection is, right? Everyone should know what is something which belongs to the area of your strength and what is something that belongs to the area of your okay, and what belongs to the area you're weak at. Can you get through?
Right, sir. Right, sir. Sir, तो हमने ये देखा कि अगर let's take, so what is your thought कि 79 से लोगों ने 99 percentile you want to summarize कि उन्होंने analyze कर
kind of a paper. Knowledge is only 50 to 65% of cracking the exam, right? Rest 35 to 40% is all about your strategy, right? All about your strategy of doing the right selections, doing the right rejection of the sets. See, I give them an example that if any one of you feels that whosoever has attempted 100% is a bond, no. Almost this is sure, leaving the exception that whosoever is going to attempt 100% of the paper is definitely not going to make it, right? And talking about an average student, which so many of you are, which majority of the students are, the simple thing is, when you know that out of 66 questions, you are going to attempt 20, 25 or 40. Those should be the easiest 20, 25 or 40 questions of the paper, period. Nothing more, nothing less, right? Now, but the problem with most of the students is that if these are 20, 25 or 40 questions, they are typically the first 20, 25 or the 40 questions they come across, right? लोगों को questions को छोड़ना नहीं आता. पेपर ये academics का पेपर नहीं है. आपको कोई इस चीज का फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि आपने किस सीक्वेंस में क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट करने हैं, एंड दैट इज, आई विल से, द बिगेस्ट ड्रॉबैक व्हिच द स्टूडेंट्स कैरी फ्रॉम एन एकेडमिक पेपर टू अ कॉम्पिटिटिव पेपर.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल.
तो ये आपको ध्यान में रखना है. एंड माइंड इट, मी एंड दीपक सर, वी टू आर एक्सपर्ट्स ऑफ द एरिया, राइट? So assuming अगर हम दोनों सिर्फ मैथ्स ही पढ़ा रहे होंगे, still my 20 questions first would be different or could be different from the first 20 questions of Deepak sir, right? We are two different individuals. आपके हाथ की यार 10 उंगलियां हैं, वो 10 के 10 बराबर नहीं है. तो दो इंडिविजुअल, उनका नेचर, उनके स्ट्रेंथ, उनके वीकनेसेस कैसे बराबर हो सकते हैं, राइट?
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल. सो कोई शॉर्ट बॉल अच्छी खेलता है, कोई ड्राइव अच्छी करता है, जो अच्छी करता है उसको अच्छे से करना है. पर वो बॉल को अगर मिस कर दिया, that's it, you finished it.
Exactly.
Yes, whatever your strengths are, student needs to play as per.
Exactly.
So तो अब मेरे को एक चीज और बताओ कि how should ideal way, how should a person skim through the questions first? कैसे करे कि what kind of questions should I pick up? Yes, what I'm trying to say is I start from question number 1. Should I only try to do it? How would I get to know कि यही वो आसान question है या फिर इसके बाद कोई आसान question है? तो वो कैसे किया जाए?
I'll come to that. Let me add here, people who are watching us live, people, Some of you might be having some questions in your mind. Do keep on posting your questions in the comment section so that we can handle all those questions.
So
Now,
some of the questions have already been mailed to me, and the other questions are being asked. मैंने YouTube का खोला हुआ सेशन साथ साथ में I'll keep asking.
right.
Right.
So primarily, see Deepak, what I tell the students that when you analyze a paper, the problem with the student is, see, the real exam is not the one to be experimented upon. जैसे दीपक सर ने बोला कि आप राहुल की बात करते हो, सूर्य कुमार यादव की बात करते हो, पीपल दे ऑल डू नेट प्रैक्टिस. अब हम लोग ये कहते हैं यार कि एक 20 ओवर का मैच है, इट्स अ 20-20 मैच which will last for 3.5 hours, but for their Indian batting side of those 1.5 hours, they do net practice for 5-6 hours in a day, and there could be 10, 20, 30 days for those. All right, the टेक अवे इज कि मुझे वो एक्चुअल डी डे की कैट पेपर से पहले कितने सारे मॉक्स अटेम्प्ट करने हैं अपने हर क्वेरी या डाउट के लिए. आई हैव टू डू द मॉक पेपर्स, द एक्सपेरिमेंटेशंस, सो दैट ऑन द डी डे आई एम रेडी. दिस इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू फेस, दिस इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू अटैक, दिस इज व्हाट doesn't belong to me, and this is what must belongs to me, right? So इस तरीके से जब आप स्कैनिंग करेंगे, अनडाउटेडली इनिशियल 3, 4, 5 पेपर्स में आपकी जजमेंट एरर भी होगा. ऑन द फेस ऑफ इट यू माइट फाइंड कि यार ये नंबर्स का क्वेश्चन है, ये मुझे नहीं आता, मुझे इसको छोड़ना है. But while analyzing, you may realize, yeah, it was such an easy question, it was such a sitter that everybody must attempt it. Similarly, you may leave a permutation and combination question saying this is something I don't do or I'm not good at, right? Or maybe later on it is being realized by you that it is something you must have done, right? So important is that you have to do every kind of thinking, analysis, while skimming the question, whether it is to your area of strength, it is your area of weakness, and mind it, that may also keep on changing. अब स्टूडेंट्स हमारे से आकर अक्सर पूछते हैं द मेजर पॉइंट, जैसे सर इन नंबर सिस्टम देयर आर सो मेनी टॉपिक्स, सो मेनी कॉन्सेप्ट्स, ये रिमाइंडर्स है, यूनिट डिजिट है, लास्ट 2 डिजिट्स हैं, सीड नंबर है, डिजिटल रूट है, चाइनीज रिमाइंडर थ्योरम है, सर शुड वी लीव इट और शुड वी डू इट? And similarly, second topic, third topic, fourth. So see, my simple thing is never leave any question on the basis of its area, and never attempt any question on the basis of its area. Attempt or leave a question on the basis of merit. There could be such a difficult question of the area of your strength. मे बी आप में से कोई टाइम स्पीड एंड डिस्टेंस का बॉन्ड मानता हो अपने आप को, बट टीएसडी का जो क्वेश्चन आए वो इतना डिफिकल्ट हो कि पेपर में कोई भी नहीं कर पाए, यू फील आप उसको कर पाओगे? यू विल नॉट बी. सिमिलरली आप में से किसी ने परमुटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन छोड़ दिया, बट उसका क्वेश्चन इतना डायरेक्ट, इतना इजी आ गया दैट एवरीवन अटेम्प्टेड इट. सो वुड यू फील दैट लीविंग दैट क्वेश्चन यू कैन एक्चुअली अफोर्ड? यू कैन नॉट. So basically, you couldn't capitalize on your strength and you lost again on your weakness. So that made sure that you are not going to crack it. So what is the takeaway? कि मुझे किसी क्वेश्चन को सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं छोड़ देना भाई कि वो टाइम एंड वर्क का है, या इसलिए नहीं कर देना कि वो अलजबरे का है. हो सकता है अलजबरे का टफ क्वेश्चन हो, मुझे छोड़ना पड़े. हो सकता है टाइम एंड वर्क का इजी क्वेश्चन हो, मुझे जरूर करना है. So you have to leave, you have to accept or reject a question not based upon the area, but based upon the merit of the question, on the difficulty level of the question.
So your strength, a student's strength or weakness will depend on after having attained a particular level of understanding and knowledge about a particular topic. The strength or weakness will depend that an actual strength is when I know that a particular question is to be attempted or not to be attempted. This is going to take much more time. with that understanding, when we leave it, we've actually nailed the paper.
Exactly. And
Yes.
that is again not end of the story. Maybe you analyze the first paper, a student analyze the first paper. He says, sir, मैंने ये देखा है कि जो TSD का क्वेश्चन है ना, उसमें मैं कोई सिली मिस्टेक कर जाता हूँ. ठीक है. He did it second time. He couldn't find any other area. He again attempted TSD and again it went wrong. But when the same thing happened for the third time, his TSD question got corrected. So what will be the takeaway? कि यार probably silly mistake मेरी तरफ से ही हो रही थी, बट ये नहीं है कि क्वेश्चन हर बार ऐसे ही गंदा आएगा जो मेरे से हो ही नहीं पाएगा. सो आई नीड टू चेंज माय पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन दिस टॉपिक. दैट मे कीप ऑन हैपनिंग टिल द डी डे. कीप ऑन राइटिंग. आपको अपनी जजमेंट के एरर्स भी मिलेंगे, आपको अपने एनालिसिस के गलतियां भी मिलेंगी. आप यू माइट बी थिंकिंग ये मुझे करना है, नहीं करना है. स्लोली इट मे कीप ऑन चेंजिंग. बट वो सारी एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन शुड बी डन 10-15 days बिफोर द एग्जाम. So that is the reason we say that every student must attempt 25 to 30 exams at least, so that they have sufficient time and sufficient frequency of the test to analyze, to keep on changing, and finally to keep on refining and polishing their preparations.
Right, sir. So, our first question, which is also linked to it. So, someone's asking the first question, which is how to select DI questions. इसमें मैं एक चीज और ऐड करके पूछना चाहता हूँ सर, because DI has been, it's been difficult for last few years. So, एक तो ये है, तो क्या हमें उस समय sectional test करने चाहिए if I'm not able to improve my DI score? Or what should be the strategy?
Yes. अगर आपको रेगुलर लग रहा है कि डीए में आप बिल्कुल भी राइट सिलेक्शन वगैरह नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, that 1 or 2 sets you should be attempting in the paper, you are not able to find those, definitely you must go for the sectional test of the same. Right? So the more and more sectional tests you do, and train your mind to give small period test to your mind. See, what happens is when you take a 2 or a 3 hour paper, everyone feels, yeah, I have 2-3 hours, so I have to take the things very easy so that you don't goof up, you don't make any silly mistakes. Dhire dhire karke I should come and attempt the paper. Now, that is one strategy and maybe workable for the ones who are getting decent score with that. But the people who feel नहीं यार कुछ होता ही नहीं, उससे हमारी स्पीड बहुत स्लो हो जाती है, give yourself a 10-minute test, give yourself a 15-minute test, so that your mind has to become habitual of that the moment the bell has rung, you have to reach at 100% of your efficiency without any delay. Right? Maybe there are 2 sets, you give yourself 12 minutes, have the idea, एक set करना है, दोनों को अच्छे से देख के एनालाइज करना है. So initially 1, 2, 2.5, 3 minutes spent in deciding what is to be done and what is to be left should be done very, very judicially. But उसमें भी गलती हो सकती है, no problem. हम गलतियां कर करके ही सब लोग सीखेंगे. But as I say, वो रनअवे 34 आप में से कुछ लोगों ने देखी होगी, मिस्टर अमिताभ बच्चन, आई एम अ ग्रेट फॉलोअर ऑफ द पर्सन. ही सेड वेरी स्ट्रांगली कि गलती से आप 3 चीजें सीखते हैं. गलती क्या होती है? गलती करना, गलती से सीखना और गलती को ना दोहराना. ठीक है, ये चीज लाइफ के हर उसमें एप्लीकेबल है. गलतियां करना कोई बुरी बात नहीं है, हम सब लोग गलतियां करते हैं, बट वी हैव टू लर्न फ्रॉम आवर मिस्टेक्स and we have to keep on improving as an individual, as a test taker, as a performer.
So next question is how crash course could help ace the CAT exam?
See, crash course is definitely going to help if you are ready to put in the extra required hard work. People try to understand it is not like that the students who start their preparation in the month of September or August, they are not able to make it. No, it is absolutely wrong. They can always make it. But at the same time, don't try to create a rosy picture for yourself that I have joined in August or September and Harinder sir said you can make it, so you'll be able to make it. No, even that is a myth. See, very importantly, someone who is preparing for the last January or August, he or she has given his or her 9 months or 12 months. You cannot beat that guy so simply, right? But You have to draw, your path has to be like that, that the distance which they traveled in 8 or 10 or 12 months, you have to travel that distance in 3 months, 2.5 months. So your speed has to be optimum, and you cannot afford to deviate from the path which is the right path. They could have, and they could have afforded to do it because they started well on time, right? So you have to have the right guidance, disciplined, systematic, organized, and sincere approach, and you can always make it. बट ये ध्यान रखें कि वो अगर 3 घंटे रोज पढ़ते हैं, मे बी आपको 10-12 घंटे पढ़ना है. आफ्टर ऑल दे आर ऑल्सो द वंस यू आर गोइंग टू compete with, right? So this is what should be done and kept in mind always.
So next question is how to skim through the questions, because analyzing which questions to do and which to skip takes about 5 to 10 minutes. How can that time be cut down?
Yeah. So students, now this question, what you're mentioning in general, this is true, but not specifically. Reason being, if you talk about that maybe DI section, I say you may spend 5, 6, 7 minutes in analyzing and then deciding the questions to be done. That is all right, right? But if you talk about quant or you talk about maybe RC, now, people, it is something that we say you are only taking one section at a time. There is no provision of shifting in between the sections. So, quant, if you are doing, you just have to keep on going through the questions, which you can see that they are the sitters for you. That is, you can keep on attempting those questions without any hassles in between, without any speed breakers in between. आपको पहली गो में सिर्फ वही questions करने चाहिए. ठीक है. Similarly, अगर मैं RC की बात करूं, you should ideally be taking those RCs first which belong to the area of your graduation, one, or the area of your strength in terms of reading. Now, everyone has different reading habits. So आपको अपने reading habits के accordingly देख के you need to pick up the topics, reading habits, your interest, and your backgrounds. It has to be a cumulative decision based upon the three things. Talking about DI, people, DI में मैं सबको ये कहता हूँ, talking about the current pattern of the paper, your target should be minimum 2, ideally 3 sets to be done in the exam, considering they're going to give you 1 or 2 sets having 6 questions as well. So आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या होना चाहिए कि मुझे कम से कम एक सेट ऐसा जरूर मिलना चाहिए, और वो मिलेगा which will ideally be very directly or very close to the kind of set you have already attempted in one of the mock papers. And besides that, you will get one set which is closely indirectly related with the mocks you have done. And with those 2 sets in mind, if the talking about an average students, अगर आप 2 set अच्छे से with 85 to 90% accuracy crack कर लेते हैं, you are through the DI section. We're talking about the good students, you need to spare time from those 2 sets and attempt and do a third set which reasonably belongs to the area of your strength, because considering you all have done 25 papers, 25 papers into average 5 sets each, 125 sets you have gone through with proper analysis. Considering there are 30-35 sets which are of repetitive in nature, still you have an exposure close to 80 to 85 sets. 80 to 85 sets plus your preparation, people, you have a knowledge of close to 150 to 200 sets, which is more than adequate to find 2 sets which you can attempt in the paper, प्रोवाइडेड वो हर सेट आपने इतने अच्छे से किया हुआ है, अप्रोच को इतने अच्छे से अंडरस्टैंड किया है कि आप उन सारे क्वेश्चंस को कंफर्टेबली कर सकते.
Right, sir. So next question. So there are 2 questions which are similar actually. The next 2 questions. What should be the total number of questions one should strive to attempt in each section to score well? And the second is, so per se, the next question is asking specifically about DILR.
Now, students, I talk about a general solution for such questions. if you talk about a paper which has a good difficulty level like CAT, I am talking about the average student perspective. Make sure that whatever number of questions a section has, if you are able to score close to 50% of that section's maximum marks, standard parameter, whatever number of questions the section has, if you are able to score close to 50% of that section's maximum marks, you are definitely close to 95 to 97 percentile. Right? Now, this is for all the average students. Now, if you are the one which wants to score or has a dream of making it more than 97, no problem. If your score reaches to 60% of the maximum marks, you are definitely able to reach among the top 2 to 3%. ठीक है, अब ये बात मैं ऐसे क्यों डिफाइन कर रहा हूँ स्टूडेंट्स, क्योंकि नाउ यू आर आस्किंग द नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. आई में से मैथ्स में आप 12 क्वेश्चन करिए. Now, I don't know about you. Deepak Tukral sir may have an accuracy of 90%. Harinder sir may have an accuracy of 70%. So those 12 will not be sufficient. For DT sir, it could be. For HS sir, it may not be. Right? So, आपको maximum अपनी accuracy के साथ ही अपनी speed को maintain करना है. A speed or an accuracy cannot be treated as an individual parameter. It has to be in agreement with the other as well.
So actually, when I hear this question or when I see this question, I feel that the student should really come out of the mode of taking a university examination or a board examination. It's not about again, कि मैं इतने questions करूंगा और इतना हो जाएगा. So it's very individualistic. That's why you have mock cats. That's where you have percentiles. That's where you compare on where are you with vis-a-vis other students, and it's a very personalized preparation. Yes, you can ask कि मैं ये कर रहा हूँ या ये कर रही हूँ, and hence I'm not able to, but still I'm not able to get this through. I mean, what should I do? That should be the question, बच्चे.
Exactly. ठीक है. और साथ में मैं स्टूडेंट्स ये कहता हूं, जैसे आप में से कुछ लोग हैं वो अगर सिर्फ स्पीड पे फोकस करते हैं, नॉट अ गुड थिंग. एंड सम ऑफ यू माइट बी थिंकिंग यू ओनली फोकस ऑन से एक्यूरेसी. नाउ लेट मी आस्क अ वेरी ब्लंट क्वेश्चन. मतलब आप में से कोई है जो पेपर में आउट ऑफ 66 क्वेश्चन से ही और शी अटेम्प्ट्स 45 क्वेश्चंस विद से 60% एक्यूरेसी. यू से एक्यूरेसी इज पुअर, ओके, एक्सेप्टेड. 45 में से 60%, 27 क्वेश्चन ठीक है, कुछ गलत है, स्टिल अ डिसेंट स्कोर. अब आप में से कोई कहता है कि सर मैंने टोटल पेपर में मेरी 100% एक्यूरेसी है एंड आई डिड 2 क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम ईच ऑफ द सेक्शंस, तो इट्स गोना गेट बेटर. मतलब आपने डीआई के 2 क्वेश्चन किए, मैथ के 2 क्वेश्चन किए, वर्बल के 2 क्वेश्चन किए और आपकी 100% एक्यूरेसी है, वुड इट टेक यू एनीवेयर? नो. आई ऑलवेज से कि भाई अगर तुम कमीज बना रहे हो, वो कमीज तो कपड़े में से ही बननी है ना. अगर तुमने कपड़ा इतना सा लिया है तो कमीज कितनी बड़ी हो जाएगी. जो आपका स्कोर आएगा वो आपके अटेम्प्ट के बीच में से ही आएगा ना. इफ योर अटेम्प्ट हैपेंस टू बी सो लो, सो वेयर विल इट टेक यू?
Exactly.
को रीजनेबल अभी करने की स्टेज है, ये मैं साथ में ऐड करूंगा पीपल. अभी एक्यूरेसी पे चाहे लेस फोकस भी है चलेगा, बट अगर आपने अपने अटेम्प्ट को स्टेगनेट कर लिया कि ये 66 में से 15 क्वेश्चन ही रहेंगे, 18 ही रहेंगे पीपल, वो फिर 18 ही रह जाएंगे. और अगर आप बहुत बड़े बॉन्ड हो गए आगे जाकर 18 में से आप 54 ही ले पाओगे ना, विद ऑल द क्वेश्चन बीइंग करेक्ट, इससे ज्यादा तो कुछ नहीं करोगे. सो अटेम्प्ट बढ़ाने के लिए अटेम्प्ट को पहले आपको आइडियल स्टेज पे ले जाना है. एक्यूरेसी में फॉलो स्लोली एंड स्टेडीली, बट अटेम्प्ट को बहुत कम लेवल पे सेटल मत होने दीजिए.
Right. So the next question comes is, how to handle the questions of DI, as DI has lots of calculations and even takes time to solve. Please tell us about logical reasoning as well. They're taking a lot of time to get solved. What should be done?
Exactly. People, I think the major discussion in terms of analysis we have kept about DI section only. Dear, in case of DI specifically, the selection, as we put earlier, is of utmost importance. Mind it, out of 20 or 22 questions, you have to if you are performing extremely bad right now, your target should be to attempt one set correct, right? So everyone says आपको एक क्वेश्चन के लिए 2 मिनट मिलते हैं, 1.5 मिनट मिलता है, 4 मिनट मिलता है, मैं आपको 30 मिनट दे रहा हूं, 10 मिनट लगा के ढूंढो, 40 मिनट का सेक्शन है, स्पेंड 10 मिनट्स, स्कैन करो, एक सेट 30 मिनट लगाकर सॉल्व करो फॉर द वंस विच आर नॉट एबल टू गेट एनीथिंग, जिसके 12-15 नंबर भी डीआई में नहीं आ रहे हैं ना, ये करने की कोशिश करो. The ones who are already attempting close to one set correct, make your target as 2. That I have to attempt 3 set closely. I have to watch, scan all 4, make the order. This is my priority 1, this is my priority 2, and try to do that. And again, don't stagnate yourself कि अगर मैंने second set किया है तो मुझे second set के ही चारों questions करने हैं. People do make your decision very judicially. अगर आपको लग रहा है उन 4 में से 2 doable हैं, 2 बहुत मुश्किल हैं, तो make a decision that you may start with the third set and maybe you can do 2-3 questions from that also. Deepak, just to share with you, in 2018, in the CAT paper, specifically within the 4 sets of each, 4 questions of each set, they made it like this: the 2 questions were simple to handle and 2 questions were very difficult. Now here they want to judge you कि कहीं आप ऐसे तो नहीं हो कि नहीं भाई जो सेट किया वो पूरा करना चाहिए और जो नहीं किया वो करना ही नहीं है. नो, 2 सेट है, इजीली हो गया. अब बाकी 2 के ऊपर आपका पिछले 2 में जितना टाइम लगा उससे 5 गुना टाइम लग रहा है अगले 2 में. एंड इन द मीन टाइम आप अगले एक सेट के 2 क्वेश्चन करके मे बी यू स्विच टू अ थर्ड सेट एज वेल. सो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी आपके अंदर होनी बड़ी जरूरी है पीपल, तभी पेपर आप क्रैक कर सकते हैं. ये चीज माइंड में रखें. You have to be very practical and flexible at the same time. आप ना तो अपने तैयारी में अटक सकते हो. You guys are fortunate enough, I'll share this with you. You guys are fortunate enough कि कैट वाले पिछले 6 सालों से predictable lines पे चल रहे हैं. At the time when Deepak Thukral sir and his a little bit seniors took the exams, just to share it with you people, CAT people were notorious, I'm using the word infamous, for throwing surprises on the D-Day. No, just share. Listen to me very carefully. I have seen the situations. Say CAT is a 150 question paper, right? Nothing is being stated in the advertisement of CAT. And on the day of the exam, you reach there and they said, today you are going to have a 90 question paper. Right? And some of you might be feeling happy, sir, ये तो बढ़िया हो गया कि 60 क्वेश्चन कम हो गए. अरे भाई ऐसा नहीं है. 60 क्वेश्चन तो कम हो गए, उन्होंने डिफिकल्टी लेवल कर दिया सुपर हाई. अब आपकी एक इंटेलेक्चुअल औकात होती है, हर बंदे की इंटेलेक्चुअल कैपेबिलिटी होती है काम करने की. आपकी तो 150 में से या 90 में से आप तो 40 क्वेश्चन ही करने वाले हो, पर आपको वो 40 पहले 150 में से ढूंढने थे. सो यू हैव प्लेंटी ऑफ एक्स्ट्रास. And now you have to find from 90, so they were very difficult. 2, CAT used to be an open sections paper, any section, any time. आप CAT D-Day पे वहां पहुंचते हो, वहां जाके पता लगता है कि 2 घंटे का CAT पेपर तो 2 घंटे का ही है, but first 1 hour for verbal, next 1 hour for quant DI. On the D-Day you realize it. You have practiced all the mocks as per the indicated lines. कैट के सेक्शन 4 से 3 हो गए. यू गेट दैट ऑन द D-Day. ये सारी चीजें कैट की हिस्ट्री में हुई हैं. ठीक है ना? जस्ट इमेजिन जो स्टूडेंट्स उस टाइम, दैट्स व्हाई वी से आपको कभी अपने माइंड को फिक्स नहीं करना, कीप इट फ्लेक्सिबल. और जो व्यक्ति अपने आप को फ्लेक्सिबल लगता है, पीपल दे आर बेसिकली लुकिंग फॉर द फ्यूचर मैनेजर्स. एंड यू कैन नेवर एंटीसिपेट यार कि कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ में ऐसे ऐसे होगा, ये ऐसे होगा. कहना तो आसान है, but actually में वो कभी भी नहीं होगा. Every situation is different, every problem is different, and the solution which you require is absolutely different every time. So you have to keep in mind, remain flexible and practical at the same time.
And after 15-20 years, I'd like to add with what you said, and after 15-20 years of corporate career, I would definitely like to second it that CAT is somehow able to get and check your aptitude and your ability to survive in the corporate world, right? It is able to scan it, right? I cannot give you those examples because that will make the whole thing complex. but follow what Harinder sir is saying. At least get the paper and then crack the paper, and then we'll have those live improvement sessions. But the next question, sir, comes from a girl. She says she's stuck at 92.13 percentile in DI. What to do to raise it?
Yeah, I read that, Gurleen. I appreciate, I must congratulate. 92.13 percentile is a very good percentile at this stage. The only thing which will make it 98, 99, and maybe 100 is analyzing the test more and more in depth and giving yourself exposure to more and more sets of DILR. That is the only thing which can take it from 92 to 99, maybe 100, right? So make yourself one in-depth analysis, maybe even a deeper analysis. And while attempting any paper, go through the DI sections of all the previous papers, or at least the findings or the conclusions you must have noted for yourself. And if you have not, you just understood the meaning of analysis from this session. Do analyze previous 5, 7, 8 papers and keep writing the findings for you. Believe me, that is the only thing which is going to help you after 92%.
So the next question is on VARC. How to do VARC? I get distracted while reading, and it's become a hurdle in interpreting the passage.
Right. So people, this is the problem with the majority of the students. Mind it, you are not the only one who gets distracted while reading. See, we understand and we listen to this kind of problem that it's a reading comprehension. When reading is happening, comprehension is not happening. And when you're comprehending, actually nothing is being read at that time. राइट सो ये ध्यान में रखें, ये सबके साथ प्रॉब्लम है पीपल. इसके लिए मैं आपको एक सॉल्यूशन सजेस्ट कर सकता हूं, which we call it as reads. What is the meaning of reads? Everyone suggests that you start reading the editorial pages of the newspapers, right? I'll say that is one part. Listen to me very carefully. All the students who are feeling or facing problem in this verbal RC section, editorial wala column kholiye people and keep a stopwatch with you, and believe me, do this exercise that whatever is the length of the passage, maybe it's a 3 column and 20 rows, maybe it's a 2 column and 40 rows, whatever, you will give yourself exactly 1 minute to read the passage. You will start from the first word of the passage and you will finish at the last word of the passage. बीच में आपको बड़े सारे पैराग्राफ ऐसे हम रीड करते हैं वो करना पड़ेगा. लेट इट बी, इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रिपरेशन, राइट? The moment stopwatch clicks, the alarm clicks, 1 minute is done, keep that passage aside, take a copy, take a pen and start stopwatch again for 1 minute and recall as much as you can and write it on the paper. It could be any year, it could be any numerical value, it could be any new word, it could be any year, it could be any leader's name, it could be any movement, it could be any political person, whatever. 1 मिनट तक पढ़ना है, उसको साइड पे करके 1 मिनट तक लिखना है. And preferably do this exercise in a group of minimum 2 people. 2 newspapers or 2 articles or 2 pages, you and your friend doing it. You both are writing for 1 minute, you both are keeping it and you both are reading and then writing for 1 minute and then swapping it. He or she is reading the passage you did earlier and vice versa, and again vice versa, again 1 minute and 1 minute. So people, it has gone a total of 4 minutes. Compare, suggest each other and without looking at the paper, correct each other. कि भाई तूने यहाँ 1637 लिखा है, ऐसा नहीं था, यहाँ पे 1973 था. Right, you mentioned the name of Harinder sir, it was Deepak Thukral sir written there. Right, you mentioned the earlier Prime Minister, it was Lal Bahadur Shastri, no, it was Morarji Desai there. Right? One more. Spend 30 minutes on this kind of exercise continuously for 15 days. ठीक है, आपके माइंड को इस चीज की आदत पड़नी चाहिए कि मुझे चीजों को याद कैसे रखना है. दिस इज वन डेवलपमेंट फ्रॉम दिस एक्सरसाइज. एंड सेकेंड डेवलपमेंट इज यू आर एक्चुअली थिंकिंग कि यार मुझे पैसेज की लेंथ जितनी मर्जी बड़ी हो भाई 1 मिनट में खत्म करना है. बिलीव मी, आप 4-5 दिन करने के बाद ही आपको लगने लगेगा कि आपकी स्पीड कितनी बढ़ गई है। और 1 मिनट इज कम शॉर्ट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम टू राइट द थिंग्स यू कैन रिकॉल। अगर आप पहले दिन 8 चीजें लिखोगे, दूसरे दिन 10 लिखोगे, आपको लगेगा 1 मिनट में लिखा ही नहीं जाता जितना मैंने पढ़ लिया है, राइट? एंड दैट विल गिव अ ट्रिमेंडस बूस्ट टू योर रीडिंग स्पीड, your accuracy and your performance in reading comprehension section. Everyone must follow that.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you so much. But last question, sir. We're taking up the last question now before
Okay,
we start
people, so last
summarizing the
question,
section.
yeah.
Yes, sir. So did you suggest using an on-screen calculator?
Yeah, it's a very important question. I kept
And
that
how
in
to-
mind. I'll mention it myself. People, I'll suggest to use on-screen calculator definitely, but it is to be used very, very judicially. Let me put it very bluntly over here for the students जिन्होंने टेबल्स, स्क्वायर्स, क्यूब्स बिल्कुल याद नहीं किए, कोई कैलकुलेशन का काम नहीं किया, कंसिडरिंग की कैलकुलेटर है, they are going to face a major difficulty. Their attempt is going to remain very low in the actual paper. It's not easy to use this on-screen calculator with this mouse click people button you have to use. And minded people who use their hands while doing the calculation will use zero brains while actually marking the answer or using the or making use of options. So अगर आप इसको judicially use करेंगे, maybe आपको मैथ्स में शायद 4 या 5 क्वेश्चन में कैलकुलेटर यूज करना पड़े, डीआई में मे बी 3 या 4 क्वेश्चन में यूज करना पड़े, बट अगर आप इसको ऑल क्वेश्चंस में यूज करेंगे, इट विल अफेक्ट योर परफॉर्मेंस एडवर्सली, ट्रस्ट मी। ठीक है, इट इज टू बी यूज जुडिशियली। बड़े सारे क्वेश्चन में क्लोज ऑप्शंस हो सकती हैं, यूज इट देयर, बड़े फिगर्स हो सकते हैं, यूज इट देयर, but there is no substitute of doing the calculations mentally and using the calculators only when it is extremely difficult to do it otherwise.
सर एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ, आपने एग्जांपल दी थी, यू नो आई स्टिल रिमेंबर कि एक बार कैलकुलेशन आई, इट्स देयर इन द कैट पेपर 14.28 into 21। तो
exactly.
हम तो बताएंगे कि ये 300 है, बाकी लोग कैलकुलेटर ढूंढ रहे होंगे उस समय।
एग्जैक्टली।
तो
अब
व्हाट इज
दीपक सर का ये एग्जांपल बहुत यूजफुल है पीपल। 14.28 into 21 मुझे पता है कुछ लोगों को समझ नहीं आया, सो आपको 14.28 को 15 करना था और 21 को 20 करना था। सो 20 into 15 सबको समझ आ जाएगा जितने भी लोग बैठे, क्योंकि 15 into 2 ही है एक्चुअली और उसके पीछे 0 है। बट जो 14.28 लेके बैठा है ना, उसका एग्जांपल मैं यहाँ पे ऐड ऑन करता हूं। मान लीजिए उसने 14.28 की बजाय यहाँ पे 15.28 टाइप कर दिया है, और वो बैकस्पेस बटन से एक एक करके सबको माइनस करेगा, फिर 14 करेगा, फिर 0.28 करेगा, उसको नजर नहीं आएगा कि मैं इसको 15 कर लूं, बिकॉज द स्टूडेंट इज ओनली एंड ओनली यूजिंग हिज और हर हैंड्स एंड नॉट माइंड।
Exactly. So just there was another part to this question which was asked. I did not voice it out. I'll just ask you now. How to approach DI and LR? Do we read the questions first or solve it one by one?
You must go through the questions first and decide that the first set you should attempt should be the one which you have seen it earlier, or you are thorough with that earlier, or you have understood or learned that concept in one of the previous mock papers you have analyzed. Yes.
Right, sir. Right, sir. So concluding remarks. We've run out of time.
People, just keep yourself up. अपना मोरल बूस्ट करके रखिए। अगर आप तैयारी में अपना इतना समय लगाया है, उसको लास्ट 2 महीने के लिए खराब मत करिए। And people, you never know it is actually when it is going to click. The whole preparation is just 50%. The remaining 50% is the strategy, the analysis. So keep yourself up and always keep working for growing and shining in your life. And believe me, you can definitely make it. Definitely.
So last couple of lines from my side. You know, we've seen it in history. There are n number of examples. Students who put in effort got through good colleges. The only students who could not get through good colleges were the ones who said, not this year, next year. So I'll request you, till this is over, till you've cracked your examinations, that's the time in March and April when we decide whether you prepare
इसके
again.
साथ ना वो बेल बॉटम में यार अक्षय कुमार एक डायलॉग यूज करता है कि वो दूसरी कंट्री में एज अ स्पाई इज गोइंग एंड मे बी दे डाई ओवर देयर। ही सेड टू हिज बॉस कि सर एक चीज याद रखिएगा, whatever message you get from the government side, it is not over till the time it is over.
Exactly.
Right? And people, the concluding lines I'll say, I have been saying it. जीत उनकी होती है जिनके इरादों में जान होती है, जीत उनकी होती है जिनके इरादों में जान होती है, पंखों से कुछ नहीं होता, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है. Just keep that in mind.
Right, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Deepak.
Thank you so much, everyone. Right. All the best.